Now on the dollar index, we're still in our demand, right? So we have this fresh supply related to the break, and we are still in this demand. There's liquidity below these lows. I'm actually anticipating price gives us a final push, take out this liquidity, right? And then on the 4 hour, we get price taking out this supply in control, right? Taking out the supply in control, we make a final push down, trade above these highs, right? This supply push down to the demand that led to the break of this supply, and then we push to the upside, right? So that's my outlook on DXY, right? So we push above this supply, we are still bearish, right? On DXY, our target will be this fresh demand. Okay, so on AUDUSD, we were expecting bearishness on AUDUSD in our weekly outlook, right? And then you can see price is selling off as expected. Price tapped into our supply. We had that reaction to the downside. Now I'm still looking for further sells on AUDUSD, right? I'm still looking for further sells on AUDUSD. So we've had this break of structure. So if you actually missed these sells, I don't think you don't have an opportunity to enter. There's still an opportunity to join this trade, right? So this is our current supply that is in control of price on the 4 hour, and we've had this break. So I'm actually expecting price to get a reversal from this demand, right? But I don't actually think this demand can drive price upwards, because this is not the demand that led to the break of structure. This is the demand that led to the break of structure. So price would be interested in this demand than this, right? So this is what I'm looking for. I'm expecting price to get a reaction at this demand. We push up to this supply, right? And then we push down. So this should be another opportunity to join this trade if you are not able to join the initial entry, right? So on AUDUSD today, I'm expecting sells on AUDUSD today. I'm expecting sells on AUDUSD, right? All right, so on EURUSD on the daily, in our previous video, I was expecting price to get a reaction from this daily supply down to make a correction for a 50 to 60% correction, right? To make a 50 to 60% correction. So we are still in that supply, and I explained this is our current demand that is in control. Buyers are actually still in control now. So till we trade below these levels, I'm not going to look for sells. Till we start trading below these levels, I'm not going to look for sells, right? The market is still bullish because we are having a higher high, higher low, higher high. We formed a lower low, but we ended up forming another higher high, right? And then it's a higher low, right? So till we start trading below these levels, we are still bullish on EURUSD. But I'm fancying sells because I'm expecting the market to trade down, push into this demand, have a reaction, push down to this supply, have a reaction in this to this demand, have a reaction to this supply, and then push down, right? That's my outlook on EURUSD. Now our target will be this daily demand, right? We are also actually seeing signs of exhaustion, right? Price showing signs of exhaustion, and on the daily, we're having price closing. Let's look at what these last three candles are telling. Last two candles, right? This was the first day's candle, right? The second day's candle closed within the range of this day, and then yesterday's candle also closed within the range of this candle, right? So 2 days worth of price action, price was not able to make a push to the upside, right? Buyers were not able to push price above. So it looks like buyers are exhausted, and we will be seeing the push to the downside. But we don't predict anything, right? We have to wait for confirmations to actually start looking for sells, right? So if you get this, right, as I explained, we'll be looking for sells. Okay, so that's my outlook on EURUSD. Right, so on AUDCAD, right, we're expecting price to respect this supply and then trade below this demand. So as I said in our previous video, I was waiting for price to what? Waiting for price to take out this equal highs liquidity, right, and tap into supply. But we had price breaking above, right, clearing the liquidity above this high, right, and then now we are trading below this supply, this demand, right? So let's look at what the daily is telling us, right? On the daily, we realized yesterday's candle was not able to have a sustained break and close above this candle's high. Now we are back within the range, and then the following day's candle has also opened bearish, right? Now this is what I'm actually expecting, right? This is our current demand, right? And it looks like price will be taking out that demand. So I'm expecting price to push it down further, pull back to the supply that led to the taking out of this demand, and then we look for sells to the downside, right? As I said in our previous video, our ultimate target should be this demand, because we've already had this demand mitigated, right? So I'm expecting price to push down, right, way down to this demand. So we get this push, reaction, push again, right? Yeah, so on AUDCAD today, I'm expecting bearishness on AUDCAD. We've had our liquidity grab. This is not a break of, this is a break of structure, but this is a false break of structure. It was a liquidity grab, and now we are trading below. So I'm looking for sells on AUDCAD, right? On sells on AUDCAD today, right? All right, so in our last video I mentioned I'll only start looking for sells if you traded below this demand, daily demand that is in control, right? So price just tapped in and pushed to upside. I also mentioned there is that likelihood of price getting a reaction and then pushing to the upside, and that's what we did, right? So on the 4 hour, we realize we have this unmitigated demand zone, right? We have this unmitigated demand zone, right? So this is what I'm actually expecting. Once price has broken structure, this becomes a strong low, right? And this liquidity lying below such lows, right? So I'm actually expecting the market to push down, right? I'm expecting the market to push down, right? Give us a reaction, fake early buyers out, push down to grab this liquidity, and then we push to the upside. So every pullback is an opportunity, or every pullback is going to facilitate our move to the upside, right? So on EURAUD, I'm bullish on EURAUD, right? As I said, I'll only start looking for sells if you trade below this demand. Other than that, we are still bullish, right? So if we get a fake out, right, and push down, to be a good opportunity to look for buys, right? Okay. All right. So on gold, we have realized we shifted bearish on gold. We had higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we went on to form a lower low, and we currently pull back to the supply that led to the break of this low, right? The supply that led to the break of this low. So gold is bearish, right? Now on the 4-hour, this is our demand that pushed price to the upside. So we had a consolidation, right? And then this breakout, right? So this is our current supply that's in control of price. That led to the break of a break and a closure below these lows, right? So this is the supply that is taking out this demand. So I'm actually expecting price to push down a bit, push up, and then we push down, right, on gold. So I'm bearish bias on gold, right? And the targets would be down to these lows, right? This is a weak low now because it failed to take out to this high, right? So price normally targets weak highs and weak lows. This should be our target on gold if we are to enter sales around here, right? Stop loss above the high and then take profits down, right? So that was my outlook on gold today. All right, so on pound JPY, we realize we are stuck in a range, right? Price, this high wasn't able to take out this low, and this low has not been able to take out this high. So we are neither making higher highs or lower lows, right? Now in a range, we look to buy at the bottom of the range and we sell at the top of the range. Now we are currently in the demand that led to this bullish move and a break of these highs, right? Currently in this demand, right? So I'm expecting price give us a push down, a final push down, a push up, right? Take out the supply that will push price down, pull back to this demand, and then we look for targets to these highs, right? So that's my outlook on pound JPY. I'm expecting pound JPY to be bullish.